sure how many people are participating. I'm Brookios, and Biggie is with me
Hello.
here, and this is gonna be week zero results. Uh oh. Biggie, I'm getting some feedback through your laptop.
Yeah, I just disabled what I could from it, so now it shouldn't feedback, but I can get my headphones if that helps.
All right. I think that's good. I'm gonna quickly reference the results page on my Google Drive. So let's go through an introduction of week zero. So week zero is called an Introduction to House Colvan, and it involves turning this reagent into gold. This is not quite Rivari's wheel. Rivari's wheel goes lead, tin, iron, copper, silver, gold, but clockwise instead of counterclockwise. So this is explained in the story document, but anyway. The main challenge of this puzzle is essentially just to make gold while messing with essentially the rest of these metal inputs. It's not meant to be a hard puzzle. The easiest way to solve this is just to take the gold here and just debond it like this, and then you can just drop it. And you can just throw away the entire rest of the product. And this is definitely probably the easiest way to do this puzzle, but you can go through a lot of different methods to solving this puzzle as well, because there's a second gold output as well. So the main reason why I had a second gold output is if you try to optimize this for cycles, if you just had a single output, you would be able to saturate it really quickly, because you can take one output every 2 cycles, and every one of these outputs you can very easily make 2 gold by here's 1 gold, and then you project the silver into the second gold. So to make it less trivial, I have a second gold output. This way you cannot actually saturate the outputs, and it's no longer output limited. Now, that gets into some purification crazy stuff, which I'm not going to go into as of right now. But long story short, this is week 0, and there is no metric. It is just a test puzzle. And people did a lot of optimization for pretty much all different metrics. I'm going to go and pull that up right now. It's in this folder. So week 0. I'm looking at the sum solutions right now, and not too many people optimized for sum, but a lot of people optimized for area. So let's take a look at area. All right. So when it comes to area solutions, I think I'm going to start at...
Do you have a way to show this results spreadsheet on the stream?
Boy.
Or is it...
Let me see if I can edit scene. I'm not sure. I might...
It's also entirely fine if it's just solutions, as long as they're... Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, well, I'm unable to actually show the spreadsheet, but I will copy and paste a link into the chat, because I think Twitch will save that. So this is the main spreadsheet. I think I'm going to start with people who are at 27. No, not 27. 18 area. Because 18 area happened to be the minimum, and that would be Mpete is the first of the 18 areas. I think it's this one. Right. So to get to minimum area for this puzzle, well, essentially it's trying to cram as few or as many of these glyphs as close as you can, and using input suppression. So I'm just gonna let this run. When it comes to area for this puzzle, there's really only one method to solve this, which is the wasteless method. So the
You gotta use the quicksilver on lead so that everything cascades back to 1 gold.
Yeah, it's the most inefficient method, of course, because you're projecting the lead and not anything higher valued. But it works, and that's essentially what I believe that's what everybody did for all the 18 areas.
Yeah, Starfish in chat's talking about how he had initially thought he should just project the silver and then try to purify all the remaining metal over the course of like 32 inputs. That's not going to be area possible.
Yeah. The main difference between this and the other area solutions is, well, the main choice to be made in the area solutions is whether you decide to optimize for cycles or you optimize for gold. That influences your choice by either going with 2 arms, as seen here, or you go with a single piston arm on a track. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna run any of the areas to completion because, as you may have noticed, this is starting to run for quite some time because it requires 48 outputs. This was a deliberate choice that I made, mostly to make it more difficult for cycles optimization. I felt that if cycles was limited to just 6 outputs, then if it's just 6 outputs, then it would be a little bit too focused on latency and not enough on throughput. Anyhow, so you can speed this up a bit more. Next one would be JoJo. It's a different layout. There happened to be a lot of different layout possibilities for this puzzle, mostly because with the 2 gold outputs, you only have to reach them with at least one of your arms, and the rest is just how do you want to move your input to be the most efficient at making the outputs.
Yeah, the way JoJo's is much more cycles efficient than Mpete's is the fact that the input stays suppressed for far longer, so there's a lot more freedom of motion. You can watch JoJo leaves the copper up on the input while they do the first few projections, and that allows it to come by much faster. Mpete had the input come up before doing even the quicksilver, and that meant that there was like a tiny little channel that you could move the atoms along, and it was a lot slower for it. Yeah, the longer you can keep inputs suppressed, the more freedom of movement you have, the faster you'll be, is a general rule for area cycles.
Mm-hmm. So that's JoJo's solution. Coming up next is Brother Mojo. Let's see here. Area cycles, I think.
Oh god, the whole wall of my solutions.
Yeah, you were
I
one
was
of
prolific.
you sent in like something like 15 solutions or something
14 or 15.
ridiculous.
There were lots of different possible optimizable categories.
He also sent in a bunch of Pareto uh, solutions too.
Yeah, anything that couldn't be beaten without sacrificing something else.
So Brother Mojo's solution is actually a lot faster than JoJo's. It drops about 400 cycles from previous. I think it's just more parallelism because I remember there was like a big space somewhere here in JoJo's solution that isn't really present in this. Just
Yeah, this has the same issue as MP's regarding like input comes up with only a tiny channel left for movement, but both arms are able to access that channel, so it is better for parallelizing.
yeah. So coming up next is Pentapig and SGS actually had a triple metric tie for this. So let me see here. SGS. I wish there was like a easier way to find solutions. Area. This one. Yeah, so slightly better usage of input suppression. That length to rotate was possible because of how this is all arranged. And Pentapig is up here. Area cycles. Interestingly enough, this is a kind of a completely different orientation, yet both of them had exactly 130 gold, 1490 cycles, and 18 area. Some spaces here. Now these two solutions were beaten by 3 cycles by Mr. Puzzle. This looks pretty similar to Pentapig solution, just rotated maybe a little bit. No, Pentapig had 2 of the pistons close to each other. Now there's not too many permutations of where you put these glyphs to achieve 18 area.
Yeah, when I was solving it for mine, I actually I referenced the surrender flare solution on the wiki because it's the same. You grab this big wheel input and you have to debond at least part of it. So I did a layout that really closely resembles the surrender flare area record.
Well, yours is coming up next.
Yeah, I'm not the most creative, but I am resourceful.
Oh god, which one is it? It's area gold. This one. The way that you bond and debond them is very different.
Yeah, I was experimenting with layout. I mean, I didn't change the layout. I was experimenting with how to program this layout. And also, you will notice that mine is hard-coded to 48 outputs. It doesn't loop because it does something different on the
God. Why?
Yeah, it's faster. It's faster to do that, so you do it.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna start shift scrolling. How many? It's 1,000 cycles.
Yeah, 1,300
here
cycles.
it is. Okay, let's
And
skip
at the
to
very
that.
end, you can see that it does purify or does project the last silver and ignore the rest of the metal.
Oh, so okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's something different on the last output, meaningfully different that wouldn't be loopable.
Yeah.
Saved, I think, like 30 cycles.
Let's see here.
I used Cheat Engine when I was debugging it, so
Oh, well, we're coming up to it very soon. Here we go. So this is the last one.
yeah, instead of doing the whole process to reject the lead, it saves the silver, and then it just delivers it directly.
Well, I will have to tell you that Starfish beat you without having to do that.
I know, I know. I didn't actually have the optimal layout, but I programmed my layout well.
Let's see here. Area. Yep. Lots of
Yeah, having the debonder snuggled up alongside the input is smarter than having it protrude from the input like mine did. It's a well-made solution.
Indeed. Yeah, there's only 111 instructions in this, according to my solution parser.
That sounds like a smaller number than mine.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. By a lot. Alright, let's take a look. The next one is Jin Yu at 1259. Let's see. Jin Yu AC.
Jinyu actually, the person who is the reason we use this standardized abbreviation system, because he had the incredible large collection of solutions and organized them with this system. And when it became time to try to more standardize our our notation for solutions, we just used his because it was there.
I I think it's a really good system, if you ask me.
Yeah, it does have the common complaint that cycles and cost are both C, so it's now G for cost, but you'll always
Yeah.
get somebody who says C and means cost.
Yeah, it's why when it comes to all these results, I have gold instead of cost
Mhm.
in my spreadsheets. But yeah, Jinyu here is at 1259. I believe he also does this. Yeah, he does this crazy thing. He projects the last silver to save the little bit of cycles.
Yep.
I'm
You
not
you can
probably.
see which people are willing to go to that extra effort.
Yep. It's
It probably
you,
correlates with playtime in the game.
Jinyu, Rolamni, and then for area gold, it's also you, Rolamni, and Jinyu. But yeah, here's the last one. You just right there.
Yep.
You can see over here that there's actually more instructions to reset the thing.
Yeah, so that it could be gift. Because I mean, after it drops the last gold, you just put all the waste outside the area. It doesn't care because the area stops counting.
Yeah. Alright, so after this, Rolamni with 2 solutions. He didn't actually need to improve it, because he got his preliminary solution before he improved it was gonna take top spot anyway. Rolamni area cycles AC6. Yeah, this is the old one. He didn't do the debonder snuggled up against that. It's kind of at this angle. You project the last copper.
That's actually really surprising that it came out better to do it that way.
I'm gonna have to skip this, or skip to the end here after I scroll, because
The
I'm very
parallelism here is
curious.
basically perfect, though, which is great.
Yeah, there's very few wasted cycles in this repeating instruction. You can see like gaps of like 1 or 2. There's 1, 3 here at the beginning, but
I'm impressed this got as fast as it did.
alright, we're almost there. Here it is. So there's that, and then, huh, interesting.
I guess it allows you to stay in parallel really well.
Yeah, I think it was mostly because of that, yeah, that swing there. You just project and then the swing makes it moves the atom over faster or something like that. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I think it's the amount of time it would take to move the silver over to the projection glyph and then back to the gold versus dropping the silver off where it's convenient and then taking the +3 latency of purifying isn't anything close to as much as it would have taken the other way. So yeah, this clever fix.
Mm-hmm. Alright, the next solution is, well, actually we're going to be pivoting to area gold. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 solutions that managed to get ideal area gold, and that was, well, the first one is going to be from Binky. Let's see here. EIN here. Is this the right one? It shows up twice. Huh. So, main difference between this and the previous solutions is just 1 arm instead of 2, since pistons cost 40 gold, which is a lot.
And that also means it's much slower.
Yeah.
But you do get to use the piece of track you're not currently on as storage, which can improve efficiency sometimes.
Sometimes. I think it really depends.
And I'm sure there are constructed cases where you need the track to even be able to reach mid area, and other constructed cases where you need 2 pistons to be able to reach mid area. But this one allowed both options.
I wonder, I think this is probably true, but I can't verify. I think if the second gold output isn't there, I think minimum error goes down to 17?
Yeah, I'm almost certain that you can get 17 area solved if you don't have 2 gold outputs.
Interesting. But yeah.
Some puzzles end up being limited by the motion and content of the atoms and molecules, and others are limited by the glyphs. This was glyph limited. You could be smaller if you didn't have to place so many glyphs.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to run this to completion because this is 3,500 cycles. So
I think this one was 5,500, if the metadata was correct.
Is it?
Oh wait, no, it's just bad resolution. I could have read that as a 5.
Oh. Alright. Well, Brother Mojo has the next one. If I can remember how the alphabet works. ACAG? Oh, it's up here. Yep. This is going to be the same algorithm. Just keep stripping those quicksilvers and purify everything.
Yeah, I guess the one thing you always have to make sure of in an area solution is that you can actually reach everything you've placed. But this is not a layout that's too difficult to find.
Mm-hmm.
This pretty closely resembles mine.
Yours is up next. Another increment of, well, decrement of 400 cycles. Biggie Mac. Area gold.
One of the most important things to do in an Opus Magnum solution before you send it in as your submission is make sure that the Critelli hex that marks the origin is visible in some aesthetic location on your screen. That is high importance in Opus Magnum solution crafting.
Aesthetic Critelli.
If you have a cycle solution, there's usually like perfect centralized gaps that you can put it in. For area, I mean, you've usually filled the whole space, so you put it somewhere close but off to the side. Anyway.
Starfish says he's never even noticed that. It's one of those unspoken memes that once you start looking for it, you'll see it everywhere.
Yeah, don't bother watching mine. It's faster, but not enough faster to be worth watching to the end. It also does the project the last silver, leave the other stuff lying around, but do not.
Yeah, Rolomni does that too. Let's see here, AG. Yep.
Rolomni's layout's actually identical, except for instead of two pistons, it's a piston on a track in the same location. It's cool that he found the smart layout and just basically reprogrammed it with one fewer piston.
Yeah. It's also pretty symmetrical.
Yeah, for scrolling left and right on my screen, by the way, I have an auto hotkey script that turns shift and bracket into 50 scroll wheels. So I can just spam the bracket button while holding shift, and it'll scroll me all the way to the left or the right, and that's a lot better than trying to use my trackpad because I'm on a laptop. I don't even have a mouse when I play this game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably pretty difficult, playing this game with a trackpad.
I'm so used to it by this point.
Alright, Jin Yu actually takes the cake for area gold. Where is Jin Yu? Area gold. Here it is. But yeah. I promise future week videos will not be this boring.
I mean, this is the boring category to try to differentiate between solutions because they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They're all doing the wasteless algorithm in as little area as they can, and they're slow.
Right.
For low gold, there's two different interests in low gold for this, and cycles is always to me just exciting because of how much has to happen at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cycles for this puzzle was incredibly difficult, but we'll get there. So yeah, this was the winning solution for week 1 area gold. Congratulations to Jin Yu for doing this. And congratulations to Rolomni for winning, well, sorry, week 0. I think I might have said week 1, but yeah, congratulations to Rolomni for winning week 0 area cycles. I'm going to go and hop over to gold-based solutions now. The gold-based solutions are actually really interesting. Specifically, I'm just gonna go and do gold cycles, and kind of unfortunately in last place, Jin Yu actually has the worst gold cycles because he used a disposal glyph. This kept his area to below like 200-ish. um, I think there's a hint as to where this is gonna go.
Yeah, the difference between the gold area algorithm, which disposes stuff, and the gold cycle stuff, which instead of placing the two tracks, you keep one arm without any track and you use a bonder for quote unquote disposing of the rest by building an infinite polymer.
Right. So yeah, this solution is not exactly the best for gold cycles, just because you spend so many cycles trashing things into the disposal glyph. Yeah, it's alright, though. I don't think Jinyu was paying this too much attention when he made gold cycles. But the next one is actually Rolomni.
Rolomni Gold Cycles is a winner, isn't it? So you'd skip any of...
Ah, this is one of his older solutions.
Yeah, like Rolomni's going to come up in the first place.
Should I skip this one as well, then?
Yeah, I would skip any repeats from the same person until we get to their number one.
SGS, that is, then. PQRS. SGS. Cost. And I think that is it.
Oh my goodness, the area score. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this, here, let me just, oh, okay, so it repeats. Alright, so I don't have a 4K monitor as of right now, but essentially you can see that the area is really horrible because, he rotates the lead here, which kind of causes it to swing like 120 degrees, and I'm not gonna run this to completion because my computer will literally lag and you'll be looking at a slideshow. Eventually, it will get there.
Yeah, the final swings on this sort of a solution, it computes every single tile that now has to be marked as used in the area. It takes a huge bunch of memory, and it's not efficient in doing it, so it takes a lot of time as well. And so you'll hit the tab button to progress by one cycle, and the game will just wait a few seconds, and it'll be like, oh, thunk. We've done that cycle. Thank you for waiting. You're getting close to that level, and we're not even halfway. And it's going quadratic because of the area being swing of an object.
Yep. This doesn't even take the cake as to the largest area submission that I received. But yeah, the next up is not Pentavic. He shows up with a better solution, MPEAT. MPEAT with gold cycles. This one. I'm not sure. Oh, it's probably, yeah. It's for the very first one. That thing there is kind of unnecessary, but he keeps it in to make the instructions tape short.
The no access bonder is exciting. The arm can't reach either side of the bonder, but it doesn't need to because it's always bonding polymers.
Yep. Also, it's because this thing is big. Yeah, for future reference, you don't actually need to access every single place of a bonder or a debonder if you're not bonding or debonding single atoms.
Yeah, if you can build structures, and sometimes I've seen them called scaffolds, you can reach tiles that your arm can't put a grabber on, and that's really powerful and low cost.
Mm-hmm. All right.
A spot adjacent to the arm comes at a premium.
Yeah. Especially if you're working with a length 1 arm. There's some things you can try to do with length 2 arms, but it gets a lot more difficult. Alright, so this is actually the second contender, the second place contender for biggest area. Brother Mojo. With gold cycles. Not this one. Yes.
Is that 5 digits, one of which is a 5?
Yeah. Um,
This is not good.
it's because he rotates around the entire circle.
I see. He's doing a big spin. If it
Yeah.
works, it works.
Yeah, there's a
So yeah,
reason why yeah, this goes up into 55,000 area. It's not fun for my computer to run. It will start crying after a while, so
it feels like in terms of which percentage of the cycles involve a swing that is going to incur hundreds of thousands of computation is like 10 to 50%. Like most of the cycles are big. This is nasty.
but yeah, Mr. Puzzle has the next one, and that's actually that is the one of the largest area, and yeah, you can see it's at 63,000. Yeah, there's a reason that why I'm probably not gonna make a complicated puzzle be either gold based, like gold cycles, um or area, just because the game doesn't really like to do well, gold cycles, because you can kind of trash the area metric, and if you're doing ridiculously large swings, Opus Magnum really doesn't like that. And I also don't like area gold too much because it tends to motivate people into making super long solutions.
But yeah, 48 outputs here is because of the cycles considerations, and that's the biggest reason that these get as large as they do and take as long as they do.
Yeah. I'm just saying
This is
for like future puzzles. Yeah. If you find it, like, there's what I'm essentially saying is like there won't be like really complicated puzzles that are oh, not like I'm mostly I'm trying to say, when I say super complicated puzzles, I mostly mean week 10.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was kind of an issue on my end. I look calculus as an area metric because people took so long on their solutions that the cycle counts were like hundreds and 50,000s.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, from here on out, the cycles still continue to decrease, but the area actually jumps down, and it's no longer 60,000. It goes down to about 1,000 area, and next one is actually Pentapigs.
I saw a GIF of Pentapigs, but I'm curious to watch it run from the beginning because the GIF started in the middle. It's got this really interesting garbage shape.
Gold cycles. I think he might. Do you know if he builds his garbage shape in? Oh, it's just a line. Okay.
It's not a line; it becomes a spiral. He does
Oh.
something like
Oh, okay. That's because, okay, he programmed his out completely to
yeah,
save
exactly.
on
It makes
area.
this shape around the input.
Yeah, you were gonna do something like this until until
Yeah,
you
I thought actually
realize.
you had to do this for gold area. I was kind of blind to disposal lists, and so I thought that the gold area solution would be incorporate 282 atoms of waste into a compact ball if you can. It's not the way you actually want to do this, but
Yeah.
it's interesting because this is still larger than the one that I made that was a giant waste hexagon. I think that one is
Yours is
like
actually coming up
1,090.
next.
Oh yeah, the
Or
one that I made
actually
is a straight
no.
line.
You gave me 3 solutions, so technically that one's not coming up next. Panic comes up next. Panic.
New solution.
Yeah. Length 2 arm.
This is the reason. Yeah. So in a length 2 arm, you can take advantage of a 1 pivot and 1 rotate to move your stick by two steps, and it makes it really easy to grow in this way.
Yeah.
And you can grab it by the iron, having previously grabbed it by the gold. It's because those two are separated by the same length as one swing of the length 2 arm. The theory in this is known as channels. It's very useful, and it's something you should probably ask the Discord about if the fact that a length 2 arm here is better than a length 1 is confusing to you.
Mm-hmm. As you can also see here, every big rotate only swings like this 60 degrees portion, and that keeps the area relatively low compared to as like swinging the whole way around.
I'm going to take up a sixth of infinity instead of 100% of infinity.
All right, coming up next, starfish. Let's see here. It is gold cycles.
Starfish 757. Aha. So I found the savings of 3 cycles versus Starfish. We had probably the exact same. But I coded mine out to X whatever 48 because I found a way that you could improve it. The actual motions happening in this solution are functionally identical to the motions in mine. I think Panix had 1 backtrack on the arm, and this one has as little backtracking as I think the process being followed could achieve. The only thing that could be better is if you bond to a waist chain before you drop off gold, but that's not possible to a length 2 arm.
Yeah, you actually sent me a 756, which is a single cycle below starfish, and also 1 single area below. But you, also with 32 instructions. But you sent me a 754, which is, let's see here. Actually, I'm gonna go and take a look at Rolomni's, because Rolomni also tied you exactly for cycles, but he actually loses on the tiebreaker.
Yeah, so there are different ways to handle the largest swing at the very end, depending on whether you pivot rotate or don't rotate at all for the very last one. There's lots of gross stuff. This is again identical to my solution. The one thing that's worth noting, and I think the reason Starfish was 1 cycle slower, is which of the 2 gold outputs you drop in first. If you drop in the closer one first, you backtrack once, and then so it seems like it would be better to drop in the closer one last, because you get there 1 cycle faster. But you actually want to drop in the closer one second last, so that you save the 2 cycles getting there and backtracking, and only lose the 1 cycle getting to the end. But yeah, anyway, because I took the first output over the top instead of under the bottom, I saved 2 more cycles beyond that one. And I do one thing with the final thing to avoid having a rotation.
I can see here that my computer is really not liking that rotate anymore.
Yeah, there's not a reason to watch it to the end, I don't think.
Well, this is...
Okay. Yeah, we're here. If you get that last one, I bond, but I don't move it further down to save that last rotate, and then easy. Just bam.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
It's terrible sometimes when you can be aperiodic to save the smallest fraction of a metric point.
Jojo beat you by about 36 cycles.
With length 2 or 3 arm?
I don't know. I have not seen it.
I felt like mine was the limit of length 2 arm. I was just blind to the idea of a length 3 arm.
Ah, it's a length 3 arm. Yeah, I think Jojo and Rolomni are the only people who sent me length 3 arm based solutions.
Yeah, they allow you to bond to the waist before handling the gold. JoJo's is already doing some backtracking that is inefficient, but the layout is so much smarter that it's faster than anything that Link 2 could do. Rolami does the same thing without backtracking, and it's miles ahead.
Yeah, Rolami blew everybody out of the water for the cycles tiebreaker on this puzzle, which is kind of surprising, but yeah. I'm surprised that Rolami was the only person to go below 700 cycles in gold cycles. And he was faster by a lot. Rolami is gold cycles 7. So
Rolami manages to do the waste chain farming without letting go of the gold.
yeah. And congratulations on Rolami for winning week 0 gold cycles area. Yeah. Very, very impressive, and pretty much solid first place. Like,
yeah, this was untied, uncontested. One other person saw the idea but didn't execute it as well.
mm-hmm. I'm not going to actually go through the gold area cycles solutions, mostly because it's just a lot of throwing things into the disposal glyph.
We should look at the first place gold area, though,
Yes.
because it was the smallest by a lot.
Yes.
By at least one area over everyone else.
That is true. Starfish actually managed to do that. So let me show you. There's actually a triple place tie between Brother Mojo, Pentapig, and Rolomni in gold area cycles. And that is this solution here, or a variation thereof. So essentially all you're doing is you're getting rid of the gold, or you're debonding the gold, moving it to the output, and then you're just trashing everything else. And this was 27 area, and I have 27 area solutions from Brother Mojo, Jinyu, Pentapig, Rolomni, Brother Mojo, and they were all at 27 area. Biggie actually gave me a 29 area solution.
Yeah, I had a different position of input where I had to swing it instead of sliding it, so I took those extra 2 area at the top.
Ah. Yep. After that is Guzumi at 30, Captain Frisk at 31, and then after that is Dire Crow at 40. But
they're all better than 10,000.
This was all beaten by Starfish, actually. Starfish got uncontested first place for gold area cycles. This is 26 area. I'm not actually entirely sure how this is one area smaller.
It reuses its space from the rotation and getting the initial pivot, so it doesn't have to slide it twice. Is my best interpretation of this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because when you pivot around the this atom, it covers some of the track.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think someone said that they reprogrammed this and saved a bunch of cycles just by using a different input orientation so that the gold came off first. I thought that was funny, because this was the uncontested winner but was obviously improvable.
But yeah, congratulations to Starfish for winning Week 0 gold area cycles. I guess it's time to talk about cycles solutions.
Ew, cycles, ew.
Starfish actually says that 25 area is very close to being possible, but it ends up not actually. I don't think anyone has discovered a 25 area cycle as of yet. I don't know if it is possible. It's an open question.
Yeah, the 25 area layout would move one of the gold outputs into a spot closer to the input where you could reach it with the arm, but don't yet have a way to put anything there and simultaneously suppress the input when you need to.
There's actually a lot of cycle solutions that are below 100. I think I'll start with the first one above 100, which is by OMG. It's Abyssed. That is going to be not overlap. So this is a solution that essentially dumps everything except for the gold, silver, and quicksilver.
The highest value things are the ones you want.
Yep. And it's 108 cycles, but you can see that there could be improvements because this is only being taken once every 4 cycles instead of once every 2. And all of this waste can be purified, but that makes it really complicated. We will see that soon.
Yeah, this is a low effort approach, but it is the idea behind purification comes out very clearly in it. The fact that you want to give quicksilver its highest value by pairing it with some metal that is the highest value which you can reasonably use it for. So by pairing it with silver, you get the shortest route to get from what you have to gold. 2 gold come out of each input, and it's easy. You can actually get higher than 2 gold per input, but it's hard.
Next one is purely applied. Yeah, I kind of wish I had a 4K monitor about now.
Oh, the zoom, yeah.
But essentially, this solution, it's actually kind of surprising, because the algorithm is...
Oh.
Yeah, the algorithm is actually the wasteless algorithm.
That's sad.
Which means that you're purifying a whole bunch of silver, and, well, you're purifying from lead all the way up, or you're projecting the lead and you're purifying the rest. So this is a wasteless solution, but there's hidden waste in this because you're not making the best use of the quicksilver.
Yeah, if you assign each atom of the input a value of how much gold it is, the gold is obviously 1 gold, the silver is half a gold. The quicksilver is the wild card. It can be half a gold, or it can be a 32nd of a gold. And this solution erroneously assigns it a 32nd of a gold, so that it adds up wastelessly, but it is lower value and wasteful for that.
And this solution is higher cycles than the others because you can see there's a lot of gold being held here that's not getting to the output. This is because, well, it's a latency issue. That's the problem. This solution loses out on cycles because there's such a high latency for this gold to get to the output. Which is unfortunate, but it's week 0, so it doesn't matter. You see a useless bonding glyph. Ah, yes. It's right there. That doesn't need to be there.
I think they were probably imagining that they would create a gold chain, and then they realized, no, I want to make it move faster, but they didn't want to change the period to something more than 4 because programming is... So they kept period 4 and just had it be a nice arm handoff.
Yep. So next one up, I think it's MPEAT. Eight cycles faster. And here you can see a lot of waste being generated. And he's actually purifying the silver. He's not projecting it.
That's an interest. So the consideration being made here is that getting to the quicksilver takes making 5 or 60 bonds, 5 after you get the gold off. and the amount of machinery needed to get those debonds and still juggle everything that comes out is too high. So he probably thought, I get the silver off for much cheaper, and it can get me an improvement.
Coming up next is Brother Mojo, I think. I'm looking at my spreadsheet, and the thing is, it doesn't tell me if there's someone who's done better previously. Oh, it does, but it's far to the side. Let's see here. Brother Mojo. Cycles. Nice.
Because of 69.
Yeah. Ha ha ha.
It's got 4 different pipelines. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is kind of hard to follow.
So I mean, we can look at each individual pipeline because it's just 4 copies of the same thing.
Is it really?
It's yeah, I believe it is.
Oh, it is.
It receives that input. It does 5 debonds. It uses the Quicksilver. I'm trying to get a stop point on yours. It uses the Quicksilver on blend though. It's using the wasteless algorithm in 4 locations.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I was wondering how he was processing this. I was starting to suspect that it might have been a full throughput solution, but no, it's not.
It's not even grabbing every 2. It's just
it's
grabbing more often than every 4. It's kind of every 3. Or no, it is grabbing every 2. Okay. Yeah, so it's doing the wasteless algorithm in 4 different places with an every 2 input grab. What an accomplishment, but also how sad to see the Quicksilver being assigned such low value when it is a high value
Does
thing.
further analysis of this solution make you more sad?
I know it better now, and I don't like what I've seen. But I do appreciate that he unbonds the things 5 times in 5 cycles.
Mm-hmm. Coming up next is actually Darius. Actually, this is actually a full throughput solution.
I doubt that because when Darius said it was full throughput, we learned that it wasn't.
Did he? No, this is a wasteful solution.
Yeah, he makes waste. He thought that he could only output every 2nd cycle. He thought it was impossible to output every cycle.
Right.
So there was the mistaken belief that it was full throughput because outputs were quote-unquote saturated, like you had mentioned it being the case with 1 instead of 2 outputs.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not a saturated output because as soon as you drop an atom, you can excuse me, you can move another onto its space, which allows you to proc output every single cycle.
Yeah. So that means that this is making 64 outputs for 32 inputs. Full throughput for this solution is actually 79 to 32. You can reach that number by doing the same assigning a value. You get 1 gold from gold, half for silver, plus a quarter, plus an 8, plus a 16, plus a 32nd, and then you assign the Quicksilver another 1/2. You add that all up, it's 79 out of 32. Mm-hmm. Coming up next is Kaldenhecker.
That's a name I haven't heard before. It's good to see some new faces.
Yeah. Let's see what he does. Oh, it's another peeling solution, because that's a meme.
But I mean, it's an efficient one. It's getting the same same throughput as Darius's.
Yep.
But it's well organized because of its peelability. And Starfish points out well in chat, this is exactly OMG of its solutions, doubled.
Yeah. After Kaldenhecker is Kirisaki Kyoko. They go by a different name in Discord, I think, or Reddit. I don't remember. But I have them down as Kirisaki Kyoko. So, and this is it. I see something that will come up again. This disposal glyph.
Yeah, it's even cheaper than using waste ladders. Yeah, this is just the same idea as the other ones that are half throughput, or not half, the other ones that are 2 gold per output, only it does it in lower latency. You can see that the positions are really convenient. There actually have to be different considerations made on each side of the output because it's not rotationally, or it's not mirror symmetric. So where one of them gets a silver, the other one would be getting a lead in its place. So
Yeah.
there's some small subtle differences between the left and the right half of the solution that make sure that it's the silver that gets the projection in both cases.
Coming up next is F. Kelvlain? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your solution. It's Fkevelaim. F. Kelvlain? But their solution has this thing going on. I believe this is also a 2 output per input solution.
It definitely looks like it. I only see silver as being moved on the 2 projection glyphs. It just also has better latency, evidently, than Kirigasaku's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it has track loops. It's using track loops better, so Starfish mentioned it's debonding faster. There's no handoffs in the process of debonding, so even though gold has a bit of a travel once it's made to get to the output glyph, it is still faster because the latency prior to that is faster with the track loops. For anyone who sees track loops and solutions and thinks that they're still impossible to program, there is a tutorial that I made. It's on my YouTube, Big Mac Don't Care, and it has a bit of a how-to on track loops, which hopefully makes them a little bit more approachable. They're so powerful in cycles because you get to do a lot without dropping the thing you're holding.
Yeah. Yeah, the pyramid method where you stagger. Yeah, the staircase method where you copy a thing, you paste it like offset by a little bit, and then
you
like select this and then you drag it over. It essentially offsets everything, but you do have to place the arms correctly. But it's not. It definitely makes things easy. That was my notification.
They're really automatic to me.
Yeah. That was my notification. If anyone heard that, sorry. So this is JoJo's solution at the same cycle count actually, but it was cheaper.
So there's a min latency first gold drop because it's L equals 1 because you can debond it and move it directly to output. There's no regrab. But the second gold is obviously going to incur a lot more latency. I can't count exactly how much it is, but the track loop helps it be lower than it could be.
So next one is R Titan.
I think JoJo's solution could be 1 cycle faster if the pistons were replaced by an arm on a track loop. Because then you could pull and spin in the next cycle, and as long as it's the parity of the output that's limiting, then that would drop it by 1 cycle. Anyway.
So here we see use of waste, or rather, projection. So even though our Titan's latency is a lot longer for the main loop because he's using all these arm passes, he makes up for it some of the cycles by purifying this stuff into gold.
Actually, creating more than 2 gold per input is exciting. We're into the good part of cycles territory.
Yep. Next up is Mr. Puzzle at 56. M. Cycles. Max throughput, apparently.
So that must be purifying all of the things, including lead. And yes, it does appear to be.
Right.
It was actually really interesting to try to solve the clean purification paths on this puzzle, because you have to do lead half the time, you have to do tin 3/4 of the time, you have to do iron 7/8 and copper 15/16 of the time, because it just you're passing on what was just left over and you get half the value for it, so it gets closer and closer to one, like the Xeno sequence.
Yeah. I personally like to assign lead a value of 1 and gold a value of 32, so I don't have
I
to
do
deal
it
with
gold
fractions.
equals one, but that makes sense.
But yeah, as you can see, there is I don't know what ARM 41 does.
It looks like it takes a gold to output at some time when the latency would have caused the collision. Either that or it used to and it wasn't dropped when it. Yeah, it looks like it's just not connected.
Oh, it moves a copper from this over but once.
Oh,
I'm
it's an
kind of
initialization arm.
I'm kind of curious where that comes from now. It grabs this and shifts it over.
32 is also an initialization arm.
No, 32.
No, it keeps doing that.
Oh, okay, yeah, it must just be a initialization arm then. It just because it only runs once.
Is it true that every other time there would be a way for a copper to be delivered from purification?
Yes, apparently so. Yeah, because 46 starts to operate at a almost consistent basis.
It shouldn't be though. It should be the 7/8 throughput one. It looks like it needs to do the initialization a few more times eventually. Like it looks like that's the thing that saves the. It doesn't quite add up to one concept that I was talking about.
So you think maybe this might
I think it
crash?
crashed if we run it forever.
I think there's. Ooh, it's getting.
32 and 46 have to stay in sync, and they will stop being in sync after one more loop. Or no, something caused the gold to. Something caused the copper to move.
You saw that, right? I think it's
No,
40.
40 does it too. Okay, that's really strange that it worked out. Yeah, this is max throughput, but it's doing some trickery that is really difficult to digest on the fly.
Figured it out. We figured it out.
I imagine it's mirrored on the other side as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see 18 and 17. It's also really pretty that all the debonders are in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Well organized, but unfortunately latency sucks. Also, this is max throughput and it's cheaper than the one that I submitted for cost optimizable throughput, so I'm a little embarrassed.
Oh, well.
I spent on bonders. I like to stick stuff together.
Rolomni is at 55 cycles. That's something that we'll actually see more often.
Yay, I'm not the only one who likes to stick stuff together.
I actually have to say, the week zero, total track segments is actually a little bit bugged. It has to do with my solution parser, but it didn't calculate the number of track segments properly. But yeah, here we can see another. This is actually not purifying anything, so this is actually so far the lowest cycle count, no purification / 2 to 1.
Pretty sure my first solution that I sent you was also a 55. That was a 2 to a 1 to 2.
You also got better cycles, so
Yeah, I improved it by doing the things.
the, doing the things. Starfish says 55 cycles is +1 latency for no purification. I don't know.
I don't remember whether I got a 54 though, because I don't know if I had a min latency second half immediately.
I don't have anything between 55 cycles and 50. And that would be Starfish, who is actually second place for this, for cycles. Starfish.
Starfish made a 49 though, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Right.
Yeah. I will go with 49, actually. So this is where Opus Magnum purification gets really messy. I'm going to actually rotate this to make it fit better on the screen.
Now Starfish won't recognize it, but no one else cares.
Where's Fratelli? I can't find it. Makes me angry. Oh, there it is. Let's put that somewhere aesthetic. Ah, there you go.
That works. Yeah, I would say though that the giant monster track that holds the input is Starfish's craziest part of the solution. The arms on that serve two different purposes. One of them will grab it and move it to the right. The other will grab it and take it to the left.
Yeah, there's some pretty crazy rotations in this solution. That right there.
Yeah, if you watch what's happening as the input flies clockwise and the rest of the things fly counterclockwise around it, that's possible, but only barely.
That one right there. With the gold swinging that way, and this swinging this way.
So you'll notice the grab point on the input is important when you're considering latency. So if we start this solution back over, it's the first input is being grabbed by the quicksilver, and the second input is being grabbed by the gold. The quicksilver is debonded every single cycle by the first arm, and then dropped onto projection at minimum latency. That's the earliest that you could possibly be projecting. Meanwhile, on the other side, the gold is debonded immediately and dropped onto an output. That is the earliest you could be you could be dropping an output from that one. So each side is prioritizing something different so that the latencies balance out with how much is being accelerated by purified waves. Like the amount of theory you have to write down to plan out a cycle solve, even just in terms of what you're trying to achieve with each part of your solution, is really involved. This is a very overwhelming puzzle for cycles, but Starfish did a really good job with it.
Yeah. You beat Starfish, though, by a single cycle.
If you look at Starfish's solution on cycle 47.
Pardon?
If you look at Starfish's solution on cycle 47.
Let's
it is
see
47
here.
Out of 48.
3, 4, 5, 6. 47.
It has 47 out of 48 products on cycle 47, which my solution does not have. The only thing that Starfish failed was to put that gold that's being held by arm 30, I believe. Or no, 50. I can't tell 3s from 5s. Yeah, that gold, if it had made it to the output glyph 3 or so cycles sooner, it would have been not blocked by other stuff. This would be a 47. Which is faster than my solution of 48. It was missing just one output getting from where it was formed to where it needed to be dropped in time. So I still think the planning here had a lot of ambition. It did a lot of what it needed to do, but not all of it. But yeah, Starfish is clearly somebody who can plan out a cycle solution and reach very ambitious targets.
This is your solution.
Yeah, I'll claim the other role of ambitious target planner. I do a lot more bonding of stuff because I got into that habit with refined bronze to keep myself from falling apart. And it's important when you can bond stuff together, you allow yourself to do a lot more with fewer arms because the rest of the stuff just moves in parallel.
Yours doesn't loop.
Yeah, no, it'll crash. But on the pipeline to the right, you can see it getting grabbed by Quicksilver and doing the same thing as Starfish in terms of dropping that Quicksilver onto a projection glyph at no latency. It never missed a cycle of doing something productive. Meanwhile, the gold is grabbed and shunted immediately into the output as well. So this is a minimum latency gold producing glyph that just has to accelerate it 3 times using the waves. And I managed to do that.
But yeah.
The one on the left is a copy of the one on the right that just has to take an extra 2 cycles to reorient the input because of the awkward non-mirror symmetricness. But it has those extra 2 cycles because it's the one that is grabbed first.
Mm-hmm. So it all works out in the end.
So on cycles 46, 47, and 48, I dropped 2 golds per cycle.
Yeah, that is.
So you can watch.
Yeah, that is really interesting. I just noticed. Yeah.
I have planned out exactly what I need for 48. I didn't set 47 in my sights, so seeing how close Starfish got to 47 still made me impressed.
Yeah, so here's cycle 45. It's got gold, gold, gold into that one, and similarly for this one at 45, it's about the same. Whoops.
Anyway.
Yep. Just gold.
There were
gold.
2 versions of the solution too. One of them was prioritizing the lower cost, and one that was prioritizing lower area. The low cost one uses a single arm with a bonder to make some really weird waste pattern. The area one uses a bunch of pistons and craziness to save a few hexes, but they're both a 48, which is the goal that I set as practical minimum and I reached. I didn't think 47 could be done. I nearly was proven wrong, but not quite.
Yeah, so this one was the gold area. Sorry, this is the cycles area gold solution. Which you can see there's a lot of waste being packed in this corner. And similarly over here.
Everything is as densely packed as it can so it doesn't spill out onto any extra hexes. And then it crashes shortly after you reach the U-win screen because cycle optimizers don't care about what happens after the U-win screen.
All right, well, congratulations to Biggie for getting week 0 cycles. Both cycles area and cycles gold. Just barely squeaking past Starfish, a very close second. And while we're here, I'm just going to quickly show that, yes, you can get lower cycles with cheating.
Right.
Like this. It just plays itself. Yeah, you can cheat multiple disposal glyphs into the game with...
And they are overlapping the debonded inputs.
Yep. And with
Do you
that...
want to display on stream how this is done? At least the overlap part, not the disposal count?
Yeah, the copying the disposal glyph is actually really difficult. I don't know what just happened. I think someone followed me.
Yep, you got a follow from Panic.
Ah. Thank you, Panic. Alright, so I'll quickly show you how to... Ah, thank you. OMG, it's Abyss. Did that too. So I'm gonna create a new solution. So here's my products. Ah, Biggie.
It's a hype train of sorts.
Alright, so this is how you do an overlap. I'm getting spammed. I'm getting bullied.
We all love you too much.
R Titan Rolamni. Thank you. So this is how you overlap things. I'm gonna click onto this iron because you can see there's like this little white circle thing. If I click on this and I use A or D to rotate this until something is overlapping, it normally doesn't allow me to do anything. Like it'll just snap right back, right? But if I do this and I drag it off the screen here, it's going to go back here. I'm not touching anything right now, but now I need to press Shift, and then I click this product, and then all of a sudden, you shift click this, and then you drag it, and then suddenly it'll appear back onto it. So let me just try that again. I click this, I rotate, I drag it off, I shift click to select this, and then I let go of shift, and I drag that. And then suddenly it will be on top of this thing. So this isn't going to do anything. Like, this will not actually crash the solution. What will crash the solution is if you overlap inputs. I think there might be some weird things that might crash the solution if you're not too careful with that. There's some cases where overlapping inputs doesn't crash the solution, but you can do things like
Grimmy has a whole list out there of what they found is possible. There's like a small window when collision detection actually happens, and if you avoid causing crashes during the collision detection, then you're good, even if there are lots of things happening outside of that window.
So you can overlap glyphs like this, and now I have like 6 debonder glyphs overlapped to each other. And I'm gonna add a equilibrium glyph just so I can rotate around it really easily, like that. And then I'm gonna drag all this off, shift click this, and then all of a sudden I can debond everything at once. As you can see, this is kind of broken.
Please use hermit mode if you do solutions like this, because your friends will not appreciate seeing solutions that the game is not supposed to support on their leaderboards.
If you put a disposal glyph, you can also overlap it like that, and now it will delete this copper. And then I'm just going to put this glyph over here. And then I'm going to put an arm on a track. Whoops. I'm not good at dragging at 60-degree angles. I'll just rotate this. And from here, I can essentially grab onto this and then just start running with this arm. And this will, okay, I have to clear the input too. Let's see.
Yeah, I have to actually do the other parts where the outputs in the projection.
Just overlap and cheat a little more. Don't mind me. And then this needs to go here. So I need to go like that.
I think the rapid development of an overlap solution on stream hasn't been done before. And it's really cool. I think it makes it more approachable for people who might think this is all dark magic to see it is dark magic, but it can be done on stream. Doing it live.
Yeah, and then I can just copy this a whole bunch, and that's more than enough. Unless I made the track too short. Just put that near the Critelli. And then you have black magic like this, and it just works. Of course, this isn't infinite. This is gonna run out eventually, so this isn't gonna work forever. But yeah, overlap is a thing. Unless I specifically say you can use this for the tournament, please don't give me a solution like this, at least without telling me that it's overlapped, because I have a specific folder for overlap solutions, and I will put solutions in there. I mean, yes, you could send me a non-overlap, or you could send me a overlap solution and not tell me about it. I'll probably find out pretty soon, and that solution will be disqualified. Yeah.
And you just might be outright disqualified.
I won't be like that harsh, but please don't give me a overlap solution without telling me about it beforehand, because like I do have to verify all these solutions manually anyway, and if you give me an overlap solution, then I have to go and find it and then delete it and then, you know, redo all the spreadsheets. So yeah, just please don't.
What if I overlap a stack of 2 billion equilibrium glyphs underneath the input? You will never know.
Yes, I will, because on my spreadsheets, there will be 2 billion on the equilibrium glyph
It's
statistics,
probably just a bug. That's like 2 to the 31 minus 1. It's just bad code.
and your area is not infinite, so... Anyway. Fun times. Fun times. But yeah. That recreation there is actually one of my low cycles overlap solutions without multiple disposal glyphs. The previous one was I don't remember who sent this in actually.
Mr. Puzzle, I believe. Right?
It might have been Mr. Puzzle with the
I saw
24.
him on Reddit posting about how he had made bunch of overlap solutions.
Yeah. I think I actually have the lowest area overlap solution, and that's this. I think I might be able to get lower. Because this gold actually disappears as soon as inputted. If I put the arm over it, I think it doesn't collide. Yeah, it doesn't. So, you can do some really weird things with this. I'm gonna have to go and kind of black magic this out a little. Because I need to, like...
I can see you using a piston there, and then your movement path is down, grab, up, extend, drop, and then you're safe from it respawning underneath your arm. But yeah, it'd be a little more effort.
Let me think about this. So, currently, I have the purification glyph set up so that I move this to here, that purifies that to here, and then that purifies that over here. But I could change it so that... Okay, yeah, I see now.
Yeah, it would mean removing some glyphs and replacing them, and that's going to be a lot harder to do live because of how much is already stacked in 7 tiles.
Yeah, you can see the problems that I have to deal with here. Once you start overlapping a lot of tiles, it kind of gets messy. It shouldn't take too long, though. Alright. I want to put a track like that, so I will rotate it like this. So this...
Oh yeah, you have to have a null cycle before.
Yeah.
It'll try to start the game on cycle 1, not realizing glyphs can act automatically now.
I think I'm gonna go minus there, and then drop. And then that will purify over there, like this.
Oh, I was thinking you extend before you drop. That way you can just have it automatically finish.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good idea. I can do that. Thanks.
Teamwork.
Indeed. And then this will go up there, so I can rotate like that. And then this. And then grab, extend, drop, and then return, which is down. So that means I could go down, or drop and down. No. Plus. Yeah, getting overlap solutions to loop properly is a little bit,
X, just use the X command.
Yeah, it's here.
Oh wait, it's not. You have Dvorak layout, don't you?
Yeah, that's why it's...
I'm looking at your the control panel. I'm like, X is not X on yours.
Getting overlap solutions to repeat is sometimes really tedious. Oh, it's because I have that.
Oh, the drop is not the next thing. It has to be the drop as that 3 cycles before it.
Is this working now? I think this is working now. Yeah, getting some overlap solutions to repeat properly, especially with automated glyphs, it gets really strange at times. But yeah, this works. Yeah, so technically you can do this in 7 area, which is the minimum because the reagent is 7 area. Alright. That should wrap up week 0. Interesting. Clock symbol not
Do
at
you
the
want to
end.
talk about any of the other solutions submitted that are totally optimized for different things, like something from
Yes.
Steven or something from the instruction optimizers?
I'm going to go and show Steven's solution because he has a penchant for making things that are absolutely terrible. I don't think this is the one that I think he made a worse one after this, but this one is probably the worst solution you could come up with because it only takes the lead and purifies that into gold. So this is going to have to run 32 times to get to your first gold, and then it's going to run another 32 times to get to a second gold, because it will bond here, and then it will debond and make 2 gold here. Put 1 into each of them. And arm 10 doesn't even have to be a piston arm.
So yeah, there's an art to doing things poorly, and Steven has practiced this art.
I think I will run this until the first gold dimer gets made.
I would not recommend that. It's like purified gold, except you cry a lot more. Yeah, I don't know how many sum solutions actually came in. Goodbye Galaxy made 1. I made 2. I guess Pentapig made one that was labeled sum. But
well, we'll take a look at some after we take a look at instructions. But yeah, it's about 1,000 cycles for 2 out of 48, so you can extrapolate from there. This thing takes about 24,000 cycles to run. 27,000 apparently. Alright. So instructions. Instructions is actually kind of interesting. I received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3 instruction solutions. 2 from Biggie, 2 from Rolomnia, 1 from Mr. Puzzle. Let's take a look at Mr. Puzzle first.
Instructions optimization is always 3 or 4. It was proven by Rolomni that every campaign puzzle can be solved in at most 4 instructions, and the proof was a construction for each single puzzle that solved it in 4.
Proof by not really a proof.
Proof by example is enough for we can do all of the listed things in this way.
Mm-hmm. I just noticed this could probably be straightened. I think. Yeah.
To save part of the round trip.
Yeah, to save some cycles. If it was like that, I think. Oh yeah, this is the problem with instructions. It's really hard to debug with alt click.
Cheat engine. It's so much faster to use cheat engine to make your solutions run faster than it is to use any in-game tool.
Yeah.
I do wish in instructions you could alt-click at a point on the track and it'll move until your arm is at that position on the track.
That'd be really cool, actually. That would be really
a version of this game that somebody already knew what instructions optimization would look like when they programmed it, and that wasn't the case when Rolami made it.
Rolami says he did not consider destroying atoms for instructions area.
Yeah, my IA also did the full wasteless algorithm purifying everything. The disposal is smarter, but it requires you to use a long arm, and we both use the shortest arm.
Yeah, let's take a look at your instructions. They are Biggie Mac. Guess let's take a look at IA first.
Yeah, my IA is a wasteless algorithm. It's a little more spaghetti than Rolomni's, so it takes up, I think, 10% more area. But the important thing to have to do is make sure that you have a position to place your two metals adjacent to each other in the grabber, no matter how it works. So I have to do this long path around to get the two iron adjacent, and then the two copper adjacent, and then the two silver adjacent.
It is really nice though how close the output here is to looping back.
Yeah, I worked on making it reasonably compact that way, but it still is doing a lot of spaghetti over on the left that is not necessary, and I think Rolomni's wasteless algorithm is a little cleaner.
Let's take a look at that actually. Rolomni's area. R. Rolomni instructions area. Oh. It's a lot more compact.
Yeah. And he debonds everything so that he doesn't have to hold it all with him. Yeah. The silver and the copper and the iron are all just ready for being picked up later instead of dollied around by the 6-arm the whole time.
149. Yeah, I think one of the downsides of going for the disposal glyph for instructions area is you'd be forced to use at least a length 2 6-arm, which I don't know how much more area efficient it would be, but yeah,
and you kind of have to draw a border around your track,
right,
and increasing the perimeter by 1 is quite a lot of area.
Yeah. Yeah. In case of instruction area, Rolomni actually takes the cake. As for instruction cycles, Rolomni also takes that cake. But let's take a look at yours first.
I thought that the manner of arm that I had to use for instruction cycles was something I've never seen used in an instruction solution before. A length 2 3-pronged arm was my choice.
Yeah.
That let me grab in 2 places but avoid grabbing in the place between them. I made it a little bit quicker to get back around to the second loop. And this is wasteful. It's just bonding the stuff that it's not using.
Mm-hmm. Does Opus Magnum lag at moving large things like this using translation motion?
Yes, because it is still marking new tiles for area that has been used by the solution. My original refined bronze, when I was still pretty new to the game, had only translation waste, and it still lagged really badly at the end, enough so that I made a Reddit post about it, like, is the game supposed to lag? And that was when I was very new to the problems this game encounters when you have thousands of atoms on screen.
But yeah, Rolomni managed to get a instruction cycles in 1059.
So it's very clearly a tighter track loop, which is probably just from a more convenient arm that doesn't grab on its way back.
I don't know if you've seen this before.
It's his... Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This is cleaner. This is cleaner than mine. Yeah, I was looking at this and thinking, this is your gold layout in terms of where the bond is made and where the debond is made. I think you could just change what the arm is and put the outputs in different places and turn this into a 40/400.
Yeah, Rolamni just said that he thinks that his instruction cycles got him the idea for GC or gold cycles.
Yeah, I mean, it's the exact same relative position of input, bonder, debonder, and initial grab.
Well,
Or at least this initial grab.
yeah, sometimes optimizing for weird metrics can help you in other things.
That's right. Everybody do week 1 cycles. I want competition.
Week
No, week
one
1 is not about cycles.
Week 1 cycles was something that I did think about making, but I decided it was a little bit too cruel to be that for week 1, for a week 1 puzzle. So, yeah.
So non-trivial cycles puzzle, but I am currently barred from saying more thanks to this new rule on discussion, and I'm not opposed to that rule.
Yep. Don't worry, there will be cycle puzzles soon enough.
Excellent. Otherwise, I would lose.
Alright. Well, right before we end the stream, we're going to look at the sum solutions. Right, so obviously the overlap solutions come in first for sum, but if you ignore those, let's see here. There's actually a lot of solutions that come in pretty tightly for sum. I think, yeah, they're all not optimized for a specific thing. So I'm actually going to go and show you my very first solve of this puzzle, which is not great. But it was just a proof that this puzzle is possible. It looks like this. It does the wasteless, but it's slightly faster than being really slow because I'm using 6 arms with period 3.
Yeah, looks like the rotary wheel initial area solved for purified gold.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, this is my solution. It runs in 600 cycles. The sum is 777. So after this is John 123276.
More new names. I don't think he's participated in a tournament before.
Yeah. This one is another thing that trashes a bunch of atoms, and it does, it projects the silver into the gold. This one clocks in at 766 sum, and while it's a lot faster, it increases a lot of gold. So
it also has area that is placed for aesthetic purposes, and that means that its area score is artificially high.
Yeah.
None of those tiles are being used. I appreciate the aesthetic, but if you're going for optimization, this is not the way.
Yeah, 40 area instead of
70?
Yes, instead of 70. Anyway, that would actually have almost made a difference. The next up is actually 732. With 30 less area, that would have made it 736. So Voidify is up next. I believe that is also a new name.
I think so. I know that they've been in the Discord a lot more recently, but I don't think it was until after the other tournament completed. I think they've been trying to optimize all the journal puzzles.
So there's actually a way to make this... oh, no, there isn't. Never mind.
I like the conditional of, like, you drop it over the gold output, and the one that matches goes in, the rest get disposed.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I was thinking you could put the other gold kind of in the conditional and then put this up there, but the problem with that is this gold will always eat up anything that comes
Eat it.
into it.
Yeah.
I think that might not necessarily be the case, actually. I think they're... Oh, no. Never mind. Yeah, there's... I was thinking about, like, if you put a Quicksilver around here, you'd be able to pick it up both with a Hex Arm and then purify it after this and then drop it into a gold. But the problem with that is that would require length 1 Hex Arm, and that would not allow you to reach the disposal.
True.
Yeah.
This is a lot of good in this solution. The Curtelli is off, though. It's way off in the top left, top right.
Anyway.
That's better.
Next up is Mr. Puzzle, and this is actually sub 700. Mr. Puzzle gave me a lot of things like extremely restricted too. This is wasteless, yes. But yeah. We've all seen this algorithm work before. Yeah, this comes in at 697. As for the extremely restricted thing, that's just
Arms only rotate
yeah,
clockwise.
it's something that some people do.
Yeah, you can only use 3 different instructions: grab, a single direction rotation, and drop. You can only use length 1 fixed arms. And I think there's also the restriction you can never use a multi-bonder, but that's not applicable here. It's pretty.
Next up, Ebb Drop.
It's another new name.
Yeah. I think some solutions are... I think a lot of like the newcomers placed really well in some just because...
because they weren't extremizing any of the methods.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, making any one metric great makes the others kind of suffer.
Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, this one has a lot of paralyzation.
Which is fast, yeah.
Yeah. And this came in 682. So I think a lot of people, when they optimize for some, I know specifically, I think it was Pentapig? No. Might have been someone else. I think it might have been Mr. Puzzle. But because you have 48 outputs instead of the typical 6, there's a lot more throughput and cycles weight in the sum instead of latency and area / gold.
Yeah, I was bringing that up on Reddit if you were thinking of it from somebody. But yeah, Goodbye Galaxy had posted their sum and asked if someone had better, and I said that yes, faster is better. Here's mine.
Yep, this is by Weird.
3D bonding stations. It's efficient.
Yeah. And this
good sharing of work.
This handoff is pretty cool too. So this comes in at 652. After this is Dire Crow, which is probably another new name. Dire Crow has 22 area, 40 cost, and I don't know which one.
It has to be the cycled one that is the sum solution, because that one, all the others have 1,000 plus cycles.
Yeah, this one actually has waste. It turns out if you speed things up enough, the area the area problems that you incur actually doesn't add up to that much.
Yeah, this one's 300 plus area, but it's better than 300 plus cycles, and then also the area you already take.
And it's also pretty low cost, which definitely helps.
Yeah.
Up next, JW Fire Dragon.
Also, someone who hasn't participated in tournaments before, but they were on the Discord quite a lot.
I think it's this one.
Yeah, it's another waste one.
Yep.
Waste chain go brute.
Right, so we're getting into the realm of sub 600 sum now. So I think at this point you kind of have to be somewhat optimizing for sum to get to this point, and that would be Topo Mouse. I think.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing Topo Mouse put a solution which was some optimized.
Yeah. So it's a lot of disposal here. There's some really good reuse of arms, like 5 goes up and then goes back down, and 3 also does that. 2's only purpose is to rotate.
Yeah, I don't think 2 and 3 could be merged without adding to the period, unfortunately. Although no, 1 could do the first couple of rotates, and 3 could do the last couple of rotates, and 2 could be dropped. So you could save some work there, because 1 and 3 are both underused and both have enough to make that pivot happen.
That is true. Let's see if we can do that. So we do this. Whoops. Actually, let's not do that first. Let's move this up here. Let's move this down here. This can go here. I think you get
3 of them on arm 1 and 2 of them on arm 3, yeah.
Drop and then rotate back. That can do this. And
precisely.
Let's see if that works. There we go. Well, we saved 1 area and
20 gold.
Yes, 20 gold. That's the big thing. Yeah. Wonder if the now arm 3 can be.
It doesn't have reach to any other useful parts of the solution, so I think it's probably single use right now. It might have a better location for area's sake, but it can't go like 2 because then it'll crash.
Yeah. Oh well.
I think this is a good local optimum for at least the scope of the video.
Yes. Next up is Pentapig. Some. Track loops, waste, and kind of surprising actually that he's using purification and waste.
He's doing what MP did in the solution of purify the silver and take the free golds.
He's also doing the thing here with arm 6 where he has a grab drop instruction to prevent output.
Yes.
Which is
that helps balance because he's making 3 outputs per 2 inputs, and to make sure that it isn't all going to one of the outputs, 6 is there to make sure that the numbers add up as evenly as possible for the 2 different outputs, and that's also why it's programmed out the whole length. But I'm kind of amused by is the choice to dispose of one of the atoms and waste chain the rest, because the waste chain gets to now be thinner and take up less overall area.
Yep. Up next is Goodbye Galaxy, actually. I
Yeah,
wonder if I
they've been
have
doing
his
some
name.
extremely impressive sum optimization on the campaign in the journal. I think they've done some improvements on records that have stood for months of over 100 sum points just by redesigning and being very thoughtful about sum. Unfortunately, in this case, theirs is on the slow side. It's really good at the cost of the area, and it would be a great sum solution if there were 6 outputs, but it's 48.
Yeah, 40 outputs. 48 outputs. Ah, I made a mistake. Topo Mouse actually has a... I think I might have actually showed it already. Yeah, Topo Mouse's solution was actually 504 instead of 587. Whoops. My bad.
I'm confused.
I
We
think...
looked at the 504 one. There's a second one, the railway optimized one, but this is the one that we looked at, and we improved it to
Right.
sub.
I said this one was 587 some, I think.
Oh, I didn't hear the number you said.
Well, this one's 504. Well, I guess it's less
And it's
now.
now like 483.
Yeah. Well, that is getting close, but doesn't beat yours, actually. Yours
Yeah,
is
I got
at
410.
410.
And it was just the idea of making sure that things stayed cycle efficient because we have a lot to get through. We have a lot of inputs we need to process.
Mm-hmm.
Keep every arm busy. I think only one of them, arm 5, is less than 70 or less than 75% utilized.
Yep. Yeah, I like how there's constant things going into the disposal.
It's a little fun to use 6 arms in some because they can do things in parallel.
Mm-hmm.
You can see arm 6 over there grabbing both the silver and the quicksilver to move them onto projection and then moving the gold off. Yeah, if I were to try to go faster than every 8 cycles per input, I would need a third arm handling disposal, and that's no longer worth it for some. So this seemed about where the limit looked. I could make it I could work on the area. I might be able to cut one more area. I would be surprised if I could cut an arm. But yeah, 8 cycles was the go-to number on this one for some.
Well, congratulations, Biggie, on getting the best sum metric. And
this is what I did during the first tournament. I was the sum and cycles guy. So this first week being area and gold is going to put me out of my comfort zone. Let's have fun.
Well, I should probably say thanks everyone for watching this test run of results videos. Future results videos will probably not be nearly this long just because week 0 had no metric, which meant we had a lot of solutions to go through because, yeah.
Yeah, focus helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think for later solutions, I will only be looking at people's best solutions that they sent in. Actually, I'm not sure. I haven't actually completely decided about that because it is very interesting to look at some people progress from one metric to, or like from like one metric down to a better metric. But I'll have to see. I'll have to see how far people get with week 1.
It's frightening to see how much people have done even in the first 3 days of week 1. We've got a whole week left.
Yeah. There's an entire almost 7 days left of week 1, by the way. As of January 18th, well, right now, as of recording, it is 9 p.m. Eastern Time, January 18th, which is about 2 o'clock in the morning January 19th UTC. I decided to have the tournament start and end at midnight UTC just because, like, UTC is what kind of like the time standard of the whole world, and I decided to start solutions Friday midnight, and have results be due Tuesday midnight, because I was roughly the time frame of the previous tournament, but it's actually a little bit more. You get something like 7 more hours to work on your solution every week or something. But yeah, I will end up highlighting this video on Twitch so that it will save, and I might upload it to YouTube for essentially safekeeping. Well, thanks so much for watching. Thank you, Biggie, for coming to commentate and help me out with.
I'm glad to help out. I'm also very, very glad that you're hosting a tournament. That makes me real happy.
Yeah, I'm definitely much more of a space chem guy. I'm very much a throughput person. I'm very much not a latency person. I found that out kind of during Rule 110 of the last space chem tournament, because that was just all latency, and I was just like, no. Anyhow, I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.